You know, my story's a little different because everybody is surviving, and my Paul didn't survive. But the thing that I want you to understand is that he had 3 years that helped him because of the drugs that he had. I mean, I think that he might have gone sooner, but the drugs that they did give him, 50 doses of chemo, and it never put him in remission. But I am grateful for the 3 years that we had because they were good. And how many people can spend time with their spouse preparing to die? I mean, it's incredible to me. And for him to say, now this is what you got to do, and then I'd go out and I'd get the little book, and then I feel so fortunate, you guys. And then I had your support too, which helped me. But I want to start by just telling you that thanks, like everybody else said. You guys are great. Paul got cancer in '07, and I am a nurse, and leukemia, with it being healthy like he was, I thought a white count of 117,000, it should have been 4 to 10. I sent him back to the lab to get it done again, and it was just as bad. So I went on the web and found out a little bit more about cancer, and it put me to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which put me to Team in Training, and I'd heard about Team in Training sort of, but I didn't know that there was a local chapter, and then Lynn's name popped up, and so I responded to that name, and then Lynn called me, and they just happened to be having information meetings, and that was in '07, you guys. And I went, and Paul came with me, and you know, the rest is sort of history. For 3 years, he stayed with me. He went to my meetings. He would come down to the trainings. I have a picture of him out in San Francisco. He went 3 years with me out to Nike and got up in the morning with us and cheered us on and pushed us out the door, and then he went and had breakfast. But he supported me, and he was right at my side, and it really meant a lot to me. And because of that, I want to stay. I made the commitment. The doctors told him that he probably only had 3 years. He needed a stem cell transplant, and he refused to have it because he was 75, and the side effects were so great on a person that's older like Paul. The doctor said if he was 45, it would have been a no-brainer. So I'm not putting down stem cells at all. Please don't get me wrong. They're the best way you can treat if nothing else works. But for Paul, he didn't want it. So he had 3 years. But so when Team in Training asked him to be a patient honoree, he was delighted. You guys, he was delighted. And that's why he came to the meetings, and that's why he spoke. And it just thrilled me that he was so excited about what I was doing. And then 3 years at the finish line, and I want to tell you, the first year when we were at the inspiration dinner, now see, he sort of came because he sort of thought he should. I don't know that he really came because he really wanted to, but I certainly liked it. But at that inspiration dinner, halfway through, there were tears in his eyes, and he looked at me and he said, I'm so glad I came. What we are experiencing, the way we're helping people, is what he experienced that night, and it stayed with him. Then, last week, my daughter came out to see me, and she comes to the meeting, and Macy was talking about why she's doing this. And now Gretchen's been supporting me all the way through. And she listens to the talk, she sees you people, and she walked out of there and she said, Mom, this is incredible what you're doing. And you know, so she got that same feeling, you guys. It's powerful. I don't think people know what we do and what we feel until they, like Gretchen coming and Paul coming. So I just keep encouraging you guys. What you're doing is awesome. So one of the things that Paul kept saying to me, and that I keep in my head and that I want to pass on, is he would say, hey, we're taking it one day at a time. We're going to enjoy the moments. We're going to be positive, and we're going to enlist the help of family and friends as we walk this journey. And that's what's helped me. And I also want to tell you, somebody said something about calling the office. The literature really helped me because I wanted to know a little bit more about what he was going through, because nurses, when I was nursing, we didn't take care of cancer patients because they were in a separate group, so I never worked with cancer patients. So here I got a guy that I have to work with. So the information from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society really helped me. And Paul did take 2 drugs, and one of them was Rituxan, and it helped him for a while, but there was just something about it that he couldn't lick it. It just didn't work. But it is helping a lot of people, as you heard today, and that's one of the drugs. And the other drug that he took was also researched by monies from Team in Training for the Leukemia and Lymphoma. And then, this is the other thing I want you guys to know. You don't know this because you weren't there when he died. He died in 2010. But guess who brought meals to me for 2 weeks? The Team in Training people. They brought meals to me. They sent me web messages. They sent me cards. They came to the vigil. They came to the funeral. So, I mean, you guys are pretty tremendous. And you would do the same if somebody died that you know right now, because that's how bonded you get with people. And then, so 1.5 years later, I'm still doing what he wanted me to do. This is my goal. This will be my 5th Nike. And I will have hopefully raised $25,000 by that time. I'm setting a goal of $5,000 every year. And then the best news of all is my dear wonderful granddaughter is doing this with me. Her papa, that was our first grandchild. Chelsea was very close to Paul, and if she hadn't been in soccer last year, she'd have done it with me. But this year she's fundraising, and she's going to do Nike with me. And they created a Team Superman website. She's doing this on the Flex program up in Bismarck. And bless her little heart, that mentor created a website. So now we've got Team Superman. And most of you probably don't know about my Superman, and this is what I want to tell you. Oh, and I want to also show you this. He supported me. He stuffed all my letters. He mailed out all my, but he loved going to the mailbox because this is my return letter with the little running man on it. He said, "Oh, you got 3 more letters." And then I'm going to pass this picture around. This is our team out in San Francisco, and here he is. He gets up in the morning, and this is our team. And I'll just pass it around so you guys can just see him. And then, I don't know, Chelsea, this is her letter for our website. And I just want to read it to you because see, she captured this too. She captured that feeling. And so here she is. Now, so it's in her name. She says, "Why Team Superman? When my grandfather was first diagnosed with leukemia and started his chemo in 2007, the nurses at Cancer Care would comment how amazingly positive he was. He never complained. He was always extremely positive, rarely suffered side effects from the nasty drugs they were pumping in him, and they often told him he acted like Superman." So my mother, her mother, in Casper, Wyoming, my daughter, got wind of this and decided to buy him a special Superman t-shirt that he could wear when he went for his treatments. So the nickname quickly stuck, and it wasn't long before my grandmother was laundering his shirt several times a week so that my papa could wear it to his visits. You could hear the nurses say, "Here comes Superman," as he made his way down the corridor. And then soon, whenever he attended a Team in Training event to support me, he wore the shirt. Team in Training members would always look for Superman, cheering and encouraging their efforts. And he was almost always there. He wore it to 3 Nike events and with his to meet me at the finish line, and finally he wore it the day that he was cremated. So here is a picture of my papa's first chemo treatment. I'll show it to you after. In his special shirt at Cancer Care, and then one 3 years later when my grandmother and my 4 children. That was the day, this was the last day of treatment for my papa, the day that he announced to his family it was time to stop the fight. He said, "I've had enough." He said, "I'm ready to hang with Jesus." And 6 days later he was gone. I mean, he woke up that Monday morning and he said, "What day is it?" And I said, "It's Monday." And he said, "I'm dying today." And he did. It was like he just knew. He had an inside track. He was so prepared. And that makes it easier for me. So the shirts, you'll see them. One is pretty nice and new, and the other one's very faded because the shirt's faded color confirms his long, hard-fought battle. So this is the thing I want you to remember now. Before he left, he made sure all of us knew that he wanted us to continue our efforts toward beating this nasty disease. We are certain he will always be there to cheer for you and to encourage you wherever you are So this year, Team Superman wants to make certain Papa knows that we won't ever give up the fight. So I'm gonna just, I don't know if you can see it, but his shirt's pretty bright here. And here it's pretty dim because it got washed a lot. But he was a wonderful man, and he knows that you guys were the support that I needed. So, and I still need you, so thank you.